So so it's all a la carte.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way it's just a little bit easier for what they think that they need at the beginning. But then when it comes to like a month before their wedding and they still need help planning out like a specific detail, like we really want to use balloons for our escort cards, but we can't figure out like quite how to do it. We don't have a vendor, da 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 da. Well, that's not day of coordinating, right? That's a planning.
That's a planning
piece.
thing.
So
That's
I'd be like, great, like pay $300. We'll have a 3-hour meeting and we'll plan out every part of it. I'll email the vendors. We'll get all the details organized and I'll put it into like our spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that will be more beneficial to them instead of it being because they don't know what they need up front.
Right.
Couples have no clue. They're like, we're getting married and we don't need really any help.
Okay.
Because we're really organized and we know stuff.
Well, and you are a professional, and that's advice that you're giving, and it shouldn't probably be free.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
Which is hard because you want to give. Yeah, it's hard.
And so, so the idea is that I give a ton of free information online through the blog, through this podcast, through like Facebook groups. But then if they actually want it to be personalized advice or actionable items, then that's where it's extra. I don't know. And I might like fiddle around with doing some kind of like coaching calls. So if you're like, we really can't afford a planner, I totally get it. It's like, it's probably only going to be like 10% of your overall wedding budget, but I totally get it. Instead, maybe just do like a subscription coaching session thing where every month you pay $30 and you get one phone call a month where you can say like, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. These are the vendors I'm having a hard time finding. Should I do my rehearsal on the day of or the day before? What does our timeline look okay? You know, like just little bits like that.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I don't know how to like promote it because it's not a consultation. It's not like necessarily a planning session. It is a coaching call. Like I'm coaching you through this because I that is a big part of my brand is I want couples to have the wedding that they want, which means they have to put in legwork because it has to be like their dreams, their ideas come to fruition. Not me being like, well, this is pretty. Here's how you do this. And it's like, no, it's not my wedding. I don't know. It's not my relationship. It's their relationship.
Yep.
So anyways, round the rugged rocks, the ragged rascals ran.
Wow. Okay. Tongue twister to get, like, the muscles loose?
Yes. That's my cue for Ian to go live on audio.
Is it? Okay.
So we have oh, no, that's the wrong one. So we have met a couple times before, and I went onto your website and looked at your current collection just to like refresh my mind, even though I see it all the time on Instagram. And probably because we have like similar vendor friends, so I see your stuff everywhere you do shoots often.
That's true.
And I feel like the description of your current collection is so lovely and it's so bold. Can you just explain a little bit more to listeners about your company and about your current collection aesthetic?
I can. Okay, so I'm Chelsea with Modehaus, and I make wedding dresses. I specialize in custom gowns, and then about 2 years ago, I started to create collections. Our current collection is called You Are My Muse, and it is, it's really it was inspired by really strong, powerful women in my life. And I wanted to create a collection that was, within our brand, which is, gowns that aren't just ornamental. They're really not meant to be on a dress form or mannequin, and they're meant to be on and honor a very living, breathing, multifaceted woman.
Right. And with curves and hips.
Curves and hips and all the good stuff. So the You Are My Muse collection was just kind of an expansion on the brand, and I'm pretty design driven, so a lot of our gowns are I don't want to say there's not bells and whistles, because there's a lot of really thoughtful elements, thoughtful lace detail and interesting sleeves and flattering silhouettes and things like that. But they're on the more minimal side.
And they're more about like enhancing the wearers.
Yes.
natural beauty
Yep.
instead of being like, oh, you're pretty, but with that dress, like
Mhm.
that dress makes you prettier
Yep.
instead of you are pretty in general. What about, okay, so you're a dress designer.
Yes.
Do the brides come to you before and you custom design the dress, or can they pick from like this current collection?
Both. So they can pick from the current collection, and we have it available in our boutique. So we've got samples from the Take Flight collection, which was last year, and then the You Are My Muse collection, which showcased at New York Bridal Market in October. So we have all that available to try on, and we have a sample size, and I'm hoping to continue to expand and offer multiple. We have a variety of sizes, but what we have available right now, I'm hoping to increase, just so we can offer them to anyone. I hear a lot that brides will go into stores and they can't find stuff that fits, and that really bums me out. There should be a wider variety available.
Well, too, I think that like big box stores, they're not big box, but you know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes they just have a bunch of really large dresses to try to accommodate everyone. Well, then like Josie goes in and she's like 5'1", and it's like, maybe this dress would look pretty on me, but
I can't imagine it.
I'm swimming in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, and I get the clamps. Well, then that sets unrealistic expectations for how it's going to fit after alterations, right? Because
Right.
the clamp, you can like just like really
You can get you
snap
in there.
someone in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to be sewn into my wedding dress on the day of my wedding.
Right.
Maybe that happens for like 2 people a year.
I think I've heard it happening once.
So it
yeah.
is nice to have like this range, but maybe like tailoring it more towards all types of bodies,
Yes.
not just weight, but height.
Yep.
I don't know if that's too like short girl problem, but
It's I think too, a lot of times you'll go into a store, and if there's clamps and things like that, there can be really unrealistic expectations about how things are going to fit. So I do think a benefit of coming into our atelier is to you're going to talk to me, and I'm going to be altering the dress.
Right.
So you really get the inside scoop about how things are going to fit, and I'm not going to lie to you about
yes,
how it's going to look.
And I have heard that from brides before. Julia and Johanna, who are in episode 11, talked about, I'm pretty sure it was them, talked about going in, and so did Allie Burns, actually, in episode 2, talked about going in and then not having any expectations about alterations set by the person that was selling them the dress. So then after they bought this dress, which was either discounted or just like a really great deal, they got, jackhammered with these alteration costs because the person wasn't knowledgeable about the whole process and about all of the costs that go into a wedding dress. Just like it's not just your dress. What about, are you going to wear a veil? Do you have accessories? Is it going to get hemmed? Shoes?
Bustle.
If you're going to change your shoes, then maybe like be cognizant that the height that you are in your heels is going to be different when you're in flats. So maybe the bustle should be a little bit higher, because then otherwise you're going to step on your own dress.
You're going to drag it on the floor.
Other people are going to step on your dress.
Yes.
Likely.
You
But
might
you
too.
don't want to step on your dress.
Right.
Yeah. I think that is, I don't even know, that was like a long tangent. But kind of going back to the original question of brides can come to you and they can say, hey, I want this design, or they can select from a collection. So let's say they try something on from your current collection. How many of a single dress will you custom make for brides before? Do you like pull it, or do you just move on to the next collection? Does that make sense? Did I ask that in the right way?
Tell me a little.
Okay, so you have your current collection,
Yeah.
and you have samples in the store that girls can go in, try on, and say, yes, I want this dress, but made for me.
Yep.
And so then that dress that they tried on goes back on the floor.
The sample.
Air quotes. Yes. Do you just make as many dresses as girls ask for?
Yes.
Okay, so you won't be like, oh, well, I don't make this dress anymore, I'm going to pull it. You know what I mean?
That does happen. So designers will pull after a certain amount of years. Usually designs get retired after 3 years or so, but it depends on how hot the dress is.
Right.
So if it's, getting ordered for 10 years, who knows, that designer might keep that design in production.
Do you keep track of this is like more of a business end question. Do you keep track of kind of how many of each dress you've made?
I
Do you spreadsheet?
I should be better about that.
I'm
was
just curious.
I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, I think not that I've like, it sounds a little self-serving to say I've lost count. That's not fair. It's just like I have gotten a little lost in it all.
Right. That's okay that you're not focused on numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe numbers of like a waistline.
Yeah. I'm focused on numbers in a different way. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you have a shop
Mm-hmm.
that brides can go to.
Yep. It's in the Northrop King building.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that's where you've been for a while? No, you just moved.
No, well, we did. So we moved into the Northrop King building about a year ago, and then I was sharing a space with several other artists, Minnie and Paul, Ashley Mary Art, and SM Hair and Makeup, and it was wonderful. We were all very excited to be in the building and be together, but we all kind of outgrew our space.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so we moved down. All four of us moved down the hall, and we kind of waited for the Northrop King to renovate these two spaces. So we kind of were like, twiddling our thumbs, waiting. I'm actually I was thinking about this the other day. I was just talking to one of my stitchers, John, and he said, we were talking, like reminiscing about having made the You Are My Muse collection in that smaller space last season, and I can't believe we did it. Like, we had just like this, it was great. Like, I will always look back on it fondly, but I'm glad to have a little bit more room.
Well, you have to be really organized then, so you're not like, oh, so this was the wrong sleeve.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't go on this
Oh my
dress.
gosh, so many things. Pattern pieces getting lost and like all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah.
What's let's talk about turnaround time or when brides should contact you. I feel like dresses are kind of the first thing that brides will opt for
One of
or
them,
buy
yes.
for,
Yeah.
right? Like my own planning experience was venue, dress, then my husband proposed. But I mean, there's a lot of logistics that went into it.
I have had two brides that have done it that way. Oh.
It's just, we got married in Washington, so I was kind of planning remotely, which is not stressful, but I feel like you're not in the scene. So you don't know, like, does this venue book quickly?
Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted a certain venue. It didn't make sense to me to get married in Washington if there wasn't going to be ocean or mountains, because Minnesota is, I feel like, equally pretty in locations that you can get married. Mm-hmm. So, but Minnesota has no oceans and no mountains.
No.
So
just
it had to
hills.
be one of those. I looked up a bunch of oceanside or like in the Puget Sound venues, and they were all super expensive. And I knew my husband was like, we're not going to just blow a bunch of money on our wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was expensive, and my parents paid for it. Thank you, parents. And his parents contributed, and we did like the teeniest bit. But that's not what was important to us. It was like, let's celebrate our love. Anyways, so we knew we were getting married in Washington, this venue. I didn't know maybe they were going to book. I wanted to date in August, which Farmer's Almanac was like the least rainy day.
And it can get rainy in Washington.
It sure can. It did rain the day before.
It did.
The morning of, but it misted and it was fine. The mountains like look like we're in Hawaii because it's like the peaks are coming out.
And then you've
of
got
the
like
clouds.
the fog.
Yes.
Oh, love,
yes.
love.
And then my parents, I was in Minnesota, so my parents visited for Christmas, and it was like I really wanted my parents to be part of the dress buying experience.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like, Brian hasn't proposed yet, but we're going to go look at dresses.
Is that okay?
Yeah. And my dad went with one time, and then we did like a girls' time. We always say we have three moms. My mom, my husband's mom, and his aunt. So we went with the moms, and it just worked out that we were like, oh, this dress is perfect. This is what I wanted. Let's just buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone's like, so about being like proposed to.
When is that going to happen? Cause
it was Christmas Day. So it was perfect. But yes, when do brides usually come to you, and when would you like them to come to you?
When would I ideally? So I would say that brides come, 6 months to a year. The luxury of us being a fully integrated design house is that you can come a little closer to your wedding date as long as we can fit you in as far as creating a dress in that amount of time.
So when is the dress needed by, and is that a busy time of the season? Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah, I think, that's not
right?
I mean, like,
If you have a lot of dresses that you are needing to finish by January, then someone comes to you and they're like, I'm getting married in
a
March.
month. Yeah.
Yeah, like, well,
That's
there's
going to be
all
tricky.
these other people that have already paid and are loyal customers.
Right.
That come first.
So I usually like to tell brides 6 months is pretty tight. So like a year. A year is ideal for getting, especially if you're going to do a custom dress, because I can explain a little bit about the custom process too. So a bride comes in, say she's a year out from her wedding. Maybe she's even more, 15 months, 18 months. She comes in and she maybe brings some Pinterest board ideas, some sketches, some just her inspiration. Maybe she shopped already, maybe she hasn't. Maybe she's had an idea in her head since she was 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be.
Right.
Maybe she saw something crazy on the red carpet in 2002, and that's what she wants.
Favorite movie.
Yes.
Maybe she's like, I really like Tangled.
Yep.
I would like a Rapunzel dress.
Please. So then once we meet, I create some sketches. So it's really interesting to have a custom dress made because it's such a abstract process at the beginning. You're talking about all these ideas, and I think that's really challenging for a lot of people. Like, you have these ideas in your mind, and we're so used to seeing what we like and being able to
try it on, take it off, try it on, take it off.
Yep. So where we don't have that as much at the beginning of the custom process, there's room to make up for it, because obviously it's a wonderful, customized experience. You start with sketches, we agree on a design, and then I move forward creating a pattern that I, of course, take the bride's measurements and then create this muslin mock-up. So though it starts as abstract, it becomes tangible right away. You get to see the silhouette of your dress on you. You get to see it fitted on you. And then we move on to fashion fabric. We choose different fabrications, laces, beading, all kinds of fun stuff. How long do you want your train? Is this neckline right? And we meet about once a month.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yep. And I usually I prefer to have dresses done at least a month before the wedding, but that, again, will depend on how soon you've hired me before you're getting married. A month is my strongest preference, so I make it happen really no matter what. And, it's really, it's a wonderful experience. It's just like we get to hang out once a month and really focus on you, what your wants are. Things come together, too, as your wedding is happening. Flowers get chosen. Your centerpieces get chosen. Your venue maybe gets locked down after you've hired me. I don't know. Your photographer, things like that. And so things change a little sometimes, and things also become clearer. And so we don't get to do that for ourselves anymore. Have things really made for us that way. Yeah. And so it's kind of a wonderful way to honor yourself and honor your body and your style.
I think about you all the time when I'm putting something on. I'm like, I wish Chelsea could just make me something that fit my body, that I can sit down in without that weird weeness, all the little things. I love that process, and I think that I feel like a lot of brides are really concerned about weight fluctuation.
Oh,
so
sure.
Maybe since you actually see them before their wedding, like a year out, and then closer to their wedding when they're actually going to be wearing the garment, can you talk about those concerns?
Sure. Especially if something's being custom made. If we're talking about, traditionally, or what I've seen in my experience has been, brides are usually, if there's weight fluctuation, they're losing weight because they're, working on their arms.
Driven.
They're driven. Or stressed.
Yeah.
And
anxiety.
And the nice thing about, custom or getting a collection piece is, I'm there and I can always make changes.
Do you ever do changes week of? I had a bride this summer, and she lost a ton of weight.
Okay.
And she put on her dress, and it was a little baggy from her, month out alterations. It wasn't a custom dress, so I feel like visually I would be like, I was just saying, this is the dress.
Yep.
This is the dress. There's nothing we can do. We can't pin it. We can't, cinch it anywhere. This is the dress. And it was, lace with an open back, so it's kind of But, what about
What do you do in that situation?
Last minute alterations.
I'm always open to it. Of course, I do alterations as well. So even if someone has a dress from outside that's not a Modehaus dress that they want altered, I love doing that. Mm-hmm.
And bustles?
And bustles, customizations too. So if they've bought a dress but it's not quite what they're looking for and they want to change it, or dress redesign, I do a lot of that actually, where a bride will come to me with their mother's dress, grandmother's dress, and redesign.
Or have you seen a lot of brides that order it online and it's like really super cheap because it's from like a Southeast Asian country, and maybe it's not a great fit on their body, but they like the style and the design. Do you kind of take it and you're like, okay,
let's make this your dress? Yep, absolutely, I do.
And are there any concerns about the quality of fabric that comes from those dresses?
There's always a concern about that.
Like I could take this apart and then it'll unravel and I can't put it back together.
There's more of a concern about that if it's a vintage dress.
Okay.
Less of a concern if it's a recently made factory dress. I would say the strongest difference between a dress that's antique or vintage made dress is the craftsmanship is usually extraordinary. So maybe not so much in the 80s, but before that, if we're talking like 40s, 20s.
Those are handmade.
Those are handmade gowns.
Right.
Whereas
most gowns are handmade.
Yes,
right, to be
in
honest.
some way or another. Yep.
It's not like you're not getting an old Navy dress where they have a huge machine that cookie cutters all the fabrics, and that's why sometimes your small is like way too big because it was at the bottom of the pile.
So I guess a factory-made dress, and a lot of people talk about alteration costs. So I think I would say that normal, for at least in my experience, alterations range from $200 to $400. I would ballpark that.
Unless it's like this dress has to be completely restructured.
Redesigned.
Because it's like an XXL and you want it to go to a X small.
Right. So that in that case, I'd be taking the whole dress apart and putting it back together.
Right.
Repatterning a dress.
The whole thing.
Yep. Which, at that point, let's just do a custom dress.
I will use this fabric.
I will, yeah. So a factory-made dress, I guess, which, there are a lot of them, and brides get them because they photograph beautifully, and you get a lot of bang for your buck, I think.
Right.
I would, of course, as someone that creates them local, always encourage brides to try, a local vendor. There's a lot of boutiques that carry designers that are local, that make their gowns in-house, or they hire a local production company to make them. The difference, I think, would be, with a factory gown is, I'm never worried about taking it apart, but alterations can be more expensive because they're not as well made.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So it's a lot more work to take them apart.
Here's the fabric, but actually this fabric is the wrong direction, right? With
the grain line?
Yes.
It's more like let's see if I can give this example and have it make sense. So like
layman terms.
So say you've got lace that has beading on it.
Okay.
On a factory made gown,
it's shitty.
Well,
and they unravel all the time, and Josie has to pick up beads and try to
and there's just like beads flying around everywhere.
And they're like, just tie it. I'm like, don't just tie it because that's gonna make it worse.
Yeah. Yes. And like usually an overlay fabric like lace on top and beading will be its own layer within itself. With a factory made gown, a lot of times they'll bead straight through the dress.
Right.
So if anything breaks, it does really unravel. And it's actually really difficult to alter a dress like that because you have to re-bead things.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I know this.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me because I've experienced it on the horrifying end.
Yeah.
But yes, I think that makes sense. And so, I mean, a factory dress could be a lot cheaper. Like, I don't know, maybe $120.
Yeah.
I think I've had brides that are like, that was the cost of my dress.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you could find like vintage or dresses that are resold that are that cost if you're trying to save money. But how much do your dresses usually cost? And is there like a large range depending on what they want to do?
There is a range. I would say our sweet spot is the collection gowns, sweet spot is between $2,500 and $3,800.
Super fair.
I think so.
Yeah.
Especially because we make them there.
I mean, that's the same. Like, I can go to any other shop and find dresses of similar cost. but they are made overseas.
Yep.
And I think there is a little tiny bit more stress with like, you can't contact the person making your dress and say, hey, how are things going? Can I try it on? Like, are we like close? Because I haven't heard anything and I'm 3 months out and
That
you
can
said
be
I get my dress
stressful.
last month.
Yep.
Whereas with you, they can just email you
Give me a holler.
incessantly.
Yep.
And be like, how's it going?
Yeah.
How's it going?
How's it going?
How's it going?
Please don't do that.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Whereas a custom dress is a little bit more expensive, as you can imagine. They start at $4,000, and I would say that they usually range between $4,500 and $5,500.
So more like towards like the Kleinfeld
Yes.
clientele.
Yes.
Right? I had a bride that went there. She did not get married. Anyways, okay. In general, do you design reception dresses also? So they have one dress for ceremony, one dress for their reception.
Absolutely.
That happens a lot.
No, it doesn't happen a lot. I'm hoping that it'll happen more, especially because we make pantsuits.
Oh yes.
So like, why not get a pantsuit for your reception?
Yeah. To imagine you making me jeans.
I'd love to make jeans. I don't know if that's a whole different.
Do you ever have a slow season? 'Cause this could be our slow season.
Making jeans. Actually, this is what I really want to expand on this year, and I'm working on in kind of not necessarily slow season because it never really feels like that. But like when I have time is lingerie and plus sizing.
Yes, and especially for like those boudoir shots. And then for like, honestly, what kind of underwear do you wear under your wedding dress? And your dresses are like, I feel like a little more, should I say exposed or like less underwear friendly? Like there's a lot of open backs and these fabrics that you like, if you're wearing granny panties, it's probably going to show.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend granny panties
ever.
Like, yeah, I mean, most of the time, but so I do built-in corsetry and everything, so you don't have to worry about a bra.
Nice.
As far as underwear goes, I mean, I do think you have a wide variety of options, especially because we have so many underwear choices these days.
Yeah.
Like seamless underwear.
Do your gals wear Spanx a lot?
I never push Spanx.
Never?
Nope.
Is there a particular reason?
Yeah. It's not that I have anything against the Spanx company or that I don't sometimes wear Spanx myself, but I'm never going to tell you that I think you need Spanx.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Because you're all about appreciating
body love,
your
baby.
body.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, let's go back to the corset because when you say that, and probably for like everyone, I am thinking of boning, right, for corset? Yeah, Haley agrees. So, my dress from 2013, is that when I got married? So 2012 dress had like boning in it, and I loved it because I didn't have to worry about like sucking on my stomach. But I said this in one episode, but I couldn't bend in half.
Oh,
so like I could not bend.
So did the boning extend past your waist?
Yeah, I had a mermaid gown too.
That's why.
Remember? Okay, think about like old dresses, satin gathered on the side.
My sister had the same thing. Yep.
Oh, very classic.
Yeah.
Early tens. Classic tens.
Tens.
Yes. Okay, but so explain maybe more of what like a modern corset is and how that works and how do girls pee in their dresses?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so as far as what we put in, I like to keep it on the minimal side. I never want, I guess first and foremost, your dress on your wedding day, because it is a long day, should be comfortable.
You should never be like, I can't wait to get this thing off.
Right.
You paid a lot of money for it. You want to keep it on.
You should want to sleep
Dress
in it.
I mean, yes, that's what I was going to say.
After the wedding, go ahead and sleep in it. So I do boning, of course, and cups. And sometimes I double up on boning. Sometimes I use different size cups. It just depends on the size of the dress and the kind of support someone wants.
But I feel like you can never see it. And like you can't see.
Oh, yeah, no,
that's what I mean.
Very hidden. Yes. And I don't think, at least in most of the gowns that I create, I never extend the boning past the hip, so you should be able to bend.
You should be able to like cinch up.
Yeah. It's not that I wouldn't do that by request, or if someone had a lot of structure that they needed in a custom gown, of course I would do that.
Yeah. And I don't think my boning did. It was like hugging.
It hugged you. Yeah.
It hugged my hips.
It hugged you.
Yes. I said that I tried it on and I couldn't unzip it for a while because I couldn't reach.
You
and
couldn't,
I
like,
like
even...
literally could not. It was very constricting. But it still fit.
Good.
So, do you ever, I feel like a lot of brides are thinking, okay, how can I save money? Well, wedding dress is a huge chunk of change. Also, your ring is a huge chunk of change.
Not to
but
mention.
that's like, we can't stomp on that territory.
No.
That's like super sensitive.
Yeah.
Anyways, I feel like some brides are thinking, oh, well, maybe I'll just wait for a sale or a deal. And I think that is true if you're going to like David's Bridal, or if you're going to the wedding fair and maybe there's like a promo that they're running there. But in general, do wedding dresses usually go on sale?
Some can, especially at a bridal boutique. Dresses can go on sale. They can do specials
If they're like
older designs, or
Yes.
or if they're having some kind of event. So
or
for
trunk shows?
trunk show,
Is that a?
yeah. So right now, we are doing a trunk show tour with the You Are My Muse collection. So
Cool.
next week I go to Savannah.
What?
Yeah, with the dresses, and that'll be really fun.
That's
and
so cool.
the boutique may choose to do a special when I'm there, like 10 to 15% or something. I can't speak to what they're gonna choose to do.
Right.
But a lot of times that'll happen. So especially during a trunk show, even if we hosted our own trunk show, or if we have any kind of event, we might do some kind of special.
So do you go by yourself to trunk shows and you show up with a trunk of dresses?
No. So I ship the dresses ahead.
Okay.
And sometimes you don't go to it. Like the designer doesn't go to a trunk show, and I think most oftentimes they don't.
I think that's cool that you do.
Well, I really want to represent the brand in the best way, and I'm looking for boutiques to pair with that I think provide a good service to their brides.
Right.
It's so
like
important.
Personalized. They're nice.
Yep.
I think that with anything, there's this misconception that because you're good at your job, that means you're also a nice, caring, kind human being.
Yeah, that's not necessarily the case.
And weddings, especially, like,
Yeah.
just because you work in weddings doesn't mean you love love.
Yep.
It doesn't.
And you play well with others.
Right. You
Yeah.
can be like a really cold-hearted biatch and be like, oh, you look ugly in that dress. And it's like, why would you ever use the U word?
The U word?
Like,
what?
That's we don't need to do that.
No,
So
not
I
necessary.
hear what you're saying. Like, and brides have said before that they have had negative experiences with trying on their dress, and I think that's such a vulnerable position to be in while trying on your wedding dress, which is technically the most important piece of article of clothing that you'll ever wear.
Yes.
Ever. Like ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it may not be your most important day, because technically I think birth of children
Could trump.
trump.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But when you birth a child, you're hopefully naked. I don't know, in this day and age.
That's actually
just
my
be naked,
next business
but-
venture, y'all, is making
for
day of
birthing.
birthing.
It'll just be like a bandeau.
Yep.
With pockets.
Mm-hmm. Lots of pockets. Matching headbands for sweat.
A flowy skirt.
Flowy skirt
that can
with like special ties to open.
it can like tuck up
Yep.
like a curtain.
Yep. Accessorize with one of those jumbo rubber balls that you can bounce up and down on.
And like airy shoes.
Oh yeah, moon shoes.
Yeah, like something like filled with gel.
Yeah.
Like so you don't have to even like feel your feet.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's trademarked, all of those ideas.
Stay tuned, y'all. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a most popular dress that you feel like everyone is like, oh, I
Gaga
love
about?
this?
The Dove, people really like. It's minimal wrap dress. It's crepe. It flows around like crazy, which actually, I have to be honest, I think they all kind of flow around like crazy because it's silk and silk chiffon, silk crepes, and they just catch the wind in such extraordinary ways.
We'll put a picture of it on the show notes.
Oh, super.
Yeah.
The Sora is also a pretty popular one. It's got beautiful applique on top, and it's just really sweet. And then from the newer collection, You Are My Muse, let's see. I have the Florence is the jumpsuit, and I think people are responding well to that.
I just bought another jumpsuit.
Did you?
Their wedding day staple. I wear a jumpsuit and a fanny pack.
You do?
Yes.
You know what?
This is very like...
A fanny pack is a timeless accessory.
Oh, the only thing is maybe we can work on this too. This is going to be an overshare, so attention, everyone.
Okay.
Josie's oversharing
You
again.
might need to plug your ears.
it gets really sweaty under the pad.
We need like absorption.
So my
underneath.
abs are like, and maybe that's like a new workout technique. It's not new, like from the 80s where like you sweatbands, you know, and then you lose weight because it's sweating.
Ah,
So I have a 6-pack naturally.
obviously.
But if there could be like an absorbent sponge or
Well, I know this is maybe weird, but I legit wear a fanny pack on my hip or my like the small of my
Yes,
back,
but
my bum.
I feel like I'm a prude in a jumpsuit. Technically, like jumpsuits, you should be like really confident that like everything kind of shows.
Yeah, and I suppose.
But I have the
you don't-
fanny pack's like my security blanket.
Ah,
It's like, don't look here.
I might be wearing a jumpsuit for all to see, but
Don't look.
don't
here.
look there.
Yes. Yes.
This is where I
okay.
keep the tacos.
So back on track. What do you do if a bride is wishy-washy about deciding on a collection dress or wishy-washy on deciding a style for a custom dress?
Good question. So I think I ask emotional questions.
Okay.
So it's an emotional purchase. It really
Yes,
is.
that's what we were getting at before
Yep.
when we went into babies.
That is true. So just circling back there unintentionally. I ask questions like, do you feel sexy in this? Or do you feel like this honors who you are? What do you feel like
Ooh, good
is
questions.
more
Instead
on,
of like, do you feel pretty?
yeah, not do you
Does
feel
this-
pretty?
Does the armpit feel good?
Does it feel like you? Let's
Yeah.
walk through your day. Okay, you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to get your hair and makeup done.
Yeah.
Can you see this dress being the one that your mom and your siblings and your girlfriends are helping you get into?
Yeah, love that.
Can you see your partner looking at you for the first time and that person, dropping their jaw?
The other thing that's really nice about visualizing, I'm a big visualizer.
Mhm.
Like all my meetings, I'm like, let's hold hands and close eyes. Now picture walking into your wedding. Like it's really successful.
I love that.
But I feel like something that gets overlooked or not thought about, especially when you wear a dress that you try on one time and then you get alterations one time and then that's it
Yep.
before your wedding day, is people are going to help you into that dress.
Yeah.
So if your dress you don't wear a bra in, guess what? Josie's going to 100% see your tits.
She's going to see them.
I
gonna
I
see
will
'em.
see them.
Yep.
And I will remember them for a short while.
No, she'll remember them forever.
I can picture all of them collectively.
They're just like going in front of your eyes now.
I do have wedding dreams sometimes, but not those. So I feel like that is something that they should take into consideration because that can really change the vibe of your morning. Is you feel really pretty and you're like very like collected and you're getting your hair and makeup done, and then you have to like drop trousers and get naked in front of your friends and family
Mhm.
and
Your photographer.
photographer and
Yep,
videographer
yep.
who might be of opposite sex as you.
Yep.
And so I think that's just something to like take into consideration is that what are the logistics of getting into your dress? And if
Mhm.
you've only done it twice, then you are not adept at putting on and taking off your dress. Like that's why I jump in so many times. One, because I don't want people to fumble around and I don't want you to just be like naked for an inordinate amount of time
Yeah.
while people are like, we can't find the whatever. And so that's why I jump in. But also because I want you to feel comfortable. So I'm there being like, everything's great. This is distracting you from the fact that we're all, your butt cheeks are right in our face.
They're right
Like,
there.
I want to distract you from that fact
Mhm.
because a lot of women maybe aren't super comfortable with their body. Is that a horrible generalization to make? But I think it's true.
No, I think most women,
And aren't used to being naked.
yeah, we all got some hang-ups.
I mean, remember high school and the locker rooms? Like
We-
that was only 1 year of your life.
Did you do locker rooms? Because I was on the swim team and we never like my mom will tell me at basketball when
Yeah.
she was in basketball, she was like, oh yeah, we were like naked and showered and whatever. We didn't. Like in my high school, we did not do that.
This sounds perverty, but okay, in grade school we had locker rooms. I went to a private Catholic school and there's like
Oh.
creepy with like dim lighting locker rooms in the basement. So that was until 8th grade. And then high school, freshmen had lockers in the locker room. So no, people didn't do that because they'd be like in between class, they'd be like, get in my books, like
There's a naked
and it'd
person.
be all freshmen, And then for some reason, I have no idea why this happened, but I never had to have my locker in there. I always had lockers with a grade above me. how weird is that?
You
I
lucky
mean,
duck.
A teenage girl's dream, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
shoot, I have to be by
By
the
all these cool older
sophomores.
kids. Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
But anyways, I feel like that's when you would have gotten used to like your body with viewers.
Yep.
But on your wedding day, it's going to happen. And if, like I said, if you've only put your dress on twice, you can't get into your dress by yourself, nor do you necessarily want to fumble through this process by yourself on your wedding day, because your wedding day is supposed to be about love and being surrounded by people who love you. So to take this moment by yourself, I mean, it's just such a big moment, like
It is.
putting on your dress and be like, God damn it, I'm doing it.
And it's the turning point of the day. Like, you've gotten ready, and I feel like it's almost like it's not. I don't want to say it's like putting on a costume for your performance, because I want it to be like it's your very you costume.
Right, but it is.
But it is. I mean, there's I wouldn't say negative anxiety about it, but it's the moment where your hair and makeup is done and you're putting on your dress. That usually means you're about to see your partner. Here we go. So. There's always this flash before your eyes. Is this going to fit? Is it going to be, which is...
Do I look okay?
Do I look okay?
Do I look okay? Do I look okay?
Is it going to... Am I going to mess up my hair and makeup by putting this thing on?
Yes. So you want help.
You want help, and you also want... this is like a technical side note here, but you want it to be easy to get into.
Yes.
So... like side zippers, not that they definitely have their place. I won't. They do, but it has to be easy to get on. So I can say that as a designer, I've really thought about that after getting brides into a lot of gowns multiple times, getting models into gowns multiple times, and messing up a lot of hair and makeup,
and getting it on the dress.
Yep.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
That's the
dry cleaning, baby.
That's no bueno.
No
But on
bueno.
your wedding day, tied to go, Ben.
Yep. So, not to mention, like the putting the dress together. Like I have signature buttons usually all the way, down the dress, and that gives nice time for moments, taking deep breaths.
Yes. Getting used to being in it.
Getting used to being in it.
Mentally preparing.
Your mom, your sisters, whoever helping you into it,
Josie.
and the Josie.
Yeah.
Josie's helping you in.
And then fake pictures of them doing
and then
it
the
again.
picture. So I've given those moments a lot of thought.
Right.
And making sure that your hair and makeup is going to stay the same in and out of that dress.
So let's step into it.
Yeah.
And then also, can someone part the C so that you can step onto the floor and not onto your dress? So then when we're pulling it up, you're not stepping on the tool and you're too nervous because there's all these things going on and you're like, blah, 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 and then we pull, yank, and it rips.
It should be like
the inside rips, not the outside.
Not the outside.
But still,
it can happen.
any rip, it matters.
Yep. The bride hears it, it's like the worst noise they've ever heard in their lives.
Where's my butcher knife?
Yeah. It's like a 3-person job. One person to distract, one person to button, and the other person to part the season.
And someone to hold her hands.
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden you're like, I feel so unsteady. And you do feel unsteady because you're getting ready for a huge moment.
Yep.
You're probably not going to fall getting into a dress. But
how often do people help you into your clothes these days? They don't.
Victorian era.
Yes.
Yeah,
upper class.
But I think that is a benefit of working with a designer and working with your dress so closely over a long period of time, is you feel really comfortable with your dress. Another big thing that I would love to talk about is bustling, because Josie bustles dresses all the time.
Does she?
For in the event, like we were talking before on YouTube, that about the bustling and about... Lost my train of thought. We're talking about bustling.
Trains.
Oh yeah, that I do a lot of day of coordinating, and so I'm not necessarily involved in this whole planning process, including going to your bustle appointment. I've never been to a bustle appointment, so if the bustling can be straightforward and easy to visualize, I love color coded ties,
loopies and ties,
or buttons that are very gorgeously done on the outside of the dress. Those are the easiest, or snaps. Ugh. But I feel like whoever is going to bustle your dress needs to go to that appointment with you and maybe just take a quick video, because 9 times out of 10, Josie's like, who's helping you bustle? And then they're like, oh, so-and-so is. And then so-and-so gets there and they're like, I can't quite remember how to do this. And usually you bustle at an opportune time, and it's quick.
It's got to be quick.
Let's go quick
Yep.
because I want to get back out there. I want to talk to people.
Yep.
I need more champagne or I have to pee or whatever it is. I don't want to spend my wedding day now that it's in motion, bustling my dress.
Yep.
And I don't want a lot of people to come around me while I'm bustling
Someone's like
my
basically
dress.
playing in my booty area.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of uncomfortable.
Yep. I
Can
want
it
to
be
check my
done?
lipstick and have someone bustle the
yeah,
back of my dress.
Yeah. So if it could be an easy bustle, but then also whoever is going to be bustling needs just take a quick little video.
Take a video. I've had a lot of bustle appointments and always encourage people to bring 1 or 2 people with them.
So 2 people know.
2 people
and
know.
So hopefully they'll remember.
Take a video.
Yes.
Definitely taken
Just
a
take
lot of
video.
videos. And draw a diagram.
Yes.
I actually give if it's a complicated bustle, I
Yeah.
provide diagrams for brides.
Here's what it's supposed to look like bustled.
Yep.
And then you finish bustling. You're like, does it look the same? No.
No,
So
she could step on that.
We messed up somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too that's one of those details that people are like, whatever, it's fine, let's just go. Well, then that's when your dress is going to get stepped on.
Yep.
And it's not even, maybe you're like, hopefully not. Maybe you're like, I don't really care anymore. Like, who cares? My dress is going to get stepped on. It's dirty, it's messy, whatever. Who cares? I just want to enjoy the night. But you will care because it's going to yank you back every time someone steps on it. And like, I don't know, do you enjoy having like the heel of your foot stepped on by people? Because that's what it's similar to. And after a while,
yeah.
doesn't that just piss you off and bring down your mood? And then you get bridezilla during the dance floor, on the dance floor.
It's, I think, a really easy way to prevent yourself having like, you're reducing the stress of your wedding day. So like by the time it's bustle time, it is party time.
Yeah.
So make the party as fun for yourself as possible.
Right.
Just plan ahead and get your bustle done. It could be, I mean, there's so many ways to bustle depending on the dress that you have.
Right.
I've done zip-off bustles where you zip off the train. This is a Modehaus plug. We have a lot of removable trains available as well. So you could have your dress hemmed to the floor and have a removable train that you have purchased to go over the top. You take it off.
So kind of like separates. And is that what you do a lot for reception dresses? Separates. So then they put on a different bottom, right? So the top is maybe like this super lacy, ornate something.
Are you designing a dress right now?
Yes. Guilty.
Yeah.
I also watched this movie called Patterson last night with Adam Driver. Very good. Totally
I
recommend
love
it.
Adam Driver.
Oh, you'll love this.
him. Okay.
It's very...
Is that the bus driver one?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's so good.
He's like a poetry writing bus
Yes,
driver? Okay.
Yes. Okay.
It's on the list to watch.
So there's the poetry. So then I went to bed and I was like thinking of like a poem, like writing it in my head. So I feel like that's this moment that we're having now.
I'm glad to
I'm
be here with you for that.
dresses in my head. No, Patterson. It's a good one.
Okay.
Adam Driver. I think he's an untapped actor resource.
He is, but he won't be for long.
I know. But he will if he keeps like holding out and only doing like meaningful movies.
Yeah.
Right?
He won't watch any of his own movies either.
He is the coolest.
He's the coolest.
He was in the military.
Yep. He's
Got
from like
injured.
Iowa.
Yes.
Where's he from? He's the Midwest guy. I just think he's the greatest.
Adam Driver. We have a small celebrity crush
We
on
do.
him.
Yeah, he's on the list for sure.
He's listening.
Yeah,
So
he is.
thanks for
Adam.
listening. Okay, so let's go back to the process of designing the gown. So initially they reach out to you and you're like, great, I'm available to make you a custom dress or a dress from the collection. Maybe they come in for an initial fitting. If they're, I guess I want to talk about this separately and not parallel. So first, let's talk about if it's a collection dress, they contact you, you prefer like 6 months to a year, 15 months is ideal, before their wedding day, that they come in, they try on a collection dress, they say, I would like this one. And then do they leave? Do you do initial measurements? Like, what's that?
What does it look like?
Yeah.
So we're a boutique like any other boutique. So you come in, you found a dress, one of our collection dresses, and you want to order it. So great, let's order it. And it takes 3 to 6 months to make for a collection dress.
Right.
Pretty standard, I would say, if you're
How
getting
many fittings do they come in for?
just the first one.
Just the first one.
So they come in for a fitting, or that first
Right.
appointment, or they have slept on it or sat with it for a couple of weeks, and then they come back. I take their measurements, and then I create a dress based on our sizing that is as close to them as possible.
Okay.
If we have to do, I will say if we have to do a lot of, like we offer any kind of customization that you want to do to the dress. So we discuss that at that time too. Hey, I love this, but I don't want the sleeves. Hey, I love this, but I want the sleeves to be different. I want the back to be lower. I want
Right.
to change the neckline. Totally fine. We
Love
can
that.
customize it. Then we create the dress, and they pick it up just like they would at a bridal shop, and then we offer alterations.
So when they come to pick it up, they're going to do one more fitting.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're like, they already know I want to do alterations in house,
Mm-hmm.
then they would do the fitting and you would mark it for
Yep.
alterations.
And I make the size as close to them as possible so that alterations will be very minimal.
Yeah, because you're smart.
Because I'm smart.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, why not? We're a design house. We can do it right there.
Yes,
So,
that'd be silly not
Yeah.
to. Okay, so let's talk, and then that's it. And then you say, great, have a great wedding. Send me pictures when you get them.
yes. Oh, and please take a look at one of our sashes or veils to accompany your wedding dress.
Sashes and veils. Any other accessories in house? Do you partner with anyone?
Yeah, actually. Selena from Hat Make makes gorgeous hats. So if there are some bold brides out there that want some insane hats,
Yeah. You
we
got
can,
a gal.
We can hook you up. Mm-hmm.
Shoes?
Shoes. We don't have any shoes at this point.
But you have shoes that you know are good fits for your dresses.
Yes.
Shoe styles.
Shoe styles, yes.
Right. So like this dress is kind of more boho, so maybe like don't go with a chunky heel.
Yeah.
Maybe go with like, have you seen those like shoeless, like little like foot thongs?
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah, I like those.
I do too.
But maybe be careful about where you're getting married. Most venues are like, please don't walk around barefoot.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's at your own risk. Just because people are drinking and then there's glass and
Yeah.
also don't let your small children run around in a back alley barefoot. Seen that. So what about for custom dress?
For custom dress.
So they come in and they
Mhm.
say and they try on something maybe, or maybe they just come in for initial consultation.
Yep.
And do you do sketches?
Yes. So I do sketches. You put a $200 deposit down for sketches that goes towards your dress. So that pays for my time, of course, to
Yeah.
do the sketches.
Time is money.
Time is money. Source the materials. And I create a few sketches. So if you have ideas that are all
Right.
over the place, I basically just like,
Here's 3 things that I
Here's-
think will look good.
yes.
And then they can say like, I love this part, but I also like this part.
On this
Can we
other sketch.
incorporate
Let's
the 2?
put them together.
Yes.
So, and then you choose the sketch, and then we usually meet in person, although I've had to, like, for brides out of state, we Skype or whatever.
Right.
And we go over the sketch, we choose, and then I take measurements. Sometimes I've already taken measurements, but usually it's then. And then I make a muslin mock-up, which I know it's not sexy, but it's my favorite part because I get to drape your gown in muslin, which is like this gray good, like it's just this, looks like canvas, but it's very lightweight.
Yeah.
And then I get to fit it perfectly to your body, which is
The best part.
yeah, I would say that fit is my number one most important thing.
Yeah.
Your dress is not going to be a bummer for you if it fits well.
Right. So agree.
Mhm.
Like even if you put something on, like if you're just shopping regular at the store and you put something on and it fits perfectly, even if you don't like it, you're like, yeah, but it fits really good.
Like, look at me right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
like hot damn Gina.
Yeah, yeah. And you get to also see it's tangible then. Like, it's
Right.
not, I think a sketch is so helpful because you get to put all your ideas right there.
And it makes you feel fancy.
It makes you feel, does it?
Like Project Runway.
Yeah,
You're
like, oh my gosh, I'm having something
oh my
there for
God,
me.
I'm a designer.
I
She's
love it.
designing my
She's
bride
making
dress.
it just for me. But then you get to see the muslin and the This is probably, it's just the way to move from sketch to real life.
Right.
Changes can be made at that time.
Right.
This neckline isn't low enough, or actually, let's make this a little lower, or I don't see my booty enough. Can we get this
Yes.
going? Actually, that happens all the time. Like, it might even
Cinch.
fit, and then let's just just a little bit in the booty.
Yeah.
And then from there, I kind of integrate things into these appointments monthly, like choosing a lace, if we're not sure about lace, because the lace world is enormous, can
Yeah.
be very overwhelming.
Yeah, super.
Mm-hmm. And then the next fitting is your fashion fabric, and then sometimes there's a little changes to be made there too, but yeah, it's wonderful. It's so fun. And moms come, friends come. The bride is always the number one boss. Like,
But it's good to have input.
it's really good to have input. And then I just don't take it until it comes out of the bride's mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that when everyone's like, yeah, but this, yeah, but this. And then you're like, okay. And you just look at the bride and you're like,
What do you think?
So I don't care about their opinion.
I mean, they're very
Do
helpful.
you care
but...
about their opinion? Okay, so that's your favorite part of the job is working with brides and making them feel good about their bodies.
I would say yes, that is my favorite part of the job. It's inspiring. It's also my way not only of being a designer but trying to be a good woman to other women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Support female bodies. We should have a conversation about things later. Okay, so how long does it take for you to do that custom design?
I've had brides elope in a month.
What?
Like 3 of them, actually. Yep. So that can happen. Please don't do that, though. But I usually...
But it can happen.
Yeah, it can happen. Usually I like at least 6 months. More is always good.
Yeah, because you have this thing called a life outside of your job.
Well, and it's not just me putting your dress together, although when it's custom, it is, I'm actually physically putting all of your dress together.
Right, you have a team.
I do, but there are sources that come from different places. So, like, if there's a special lace that you want, or we need to dye your fabric, all that takes time. I've got to do tests. I've got to make sure my wholesalers are on board. And I don't want it to cost you any more money than it should, just because we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, so let me make this a mindful process instead of a rushed
mindful.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And how and so that's for one custom dress. What about how long does it take for you to make a collection? Do you have one that you're constantly working on, and then once there's enough pieces, then you're like, okay, let's go for it?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. A collection can take. I can have an idea for a dress that I've had since I don't know, I was 12. And then all of a sudden just comes out. It's like a faucet that you decide to turn on or decide to drink from, I guess.
Yeah.
The ideas, I mean. And so this collection some ideas had been percolating for a long time, and then some came within the collection. Like I would be inspired by a dress that I was working on. And so I guess for production with my team, I would say the last collection we made in 2 months, which I think is crazy. So I actually already started designing the next collection. I'm starting to design in January, which I think will make the process a lot easier. And
then you just take inspiration from trends that you're seeing currently, or things that your brides tell you.
Things that my brides tell me, things
custom.
Yeah, custom. I get inspired by custom all the time.
Yeah.
I've got a bride right now she's got feathers on her dress, and that's inspiring. All right, I don't use feathers in my collections, but maybe I will now.
Are they white feathers?
They're ivory. Ostrich.
Because I feel like that would pair very well if she's marrying a man or someone who's wearing a suit with a boutonniere with feathers.
Yes.
Pair very well.
I should give her a few for that. For the boot.
I have pictures of them on my blog.
You do?
Because they're so... I like feather boutonnieres. I think they're really cool. And usually they are fishing lures, or I had a bride that duck hunted. So they're
duck feathers.
Yes. And they're really pretty and kind of like a statement piece and a way to save money.
That's really smart.
Because boutonnieres cost $10 a guy.
I'm going to pass that information along.
Yes,
to her. Mm-hmm.
And tell her Josie cannot help you design it.
But maybe you need some day of coordination.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah, I can't remember what my train of thought was there, but...
Well, what about advice that you have for brides or for grooms that you think that all people getting married should really take into consideration and implement?
Advice?
Besides embrace your body.
Besides embrace your body. You guys embrace your bodies. I think that it's really important to be thoughtful about the things that you want for your wedding. There's a lot of opportunity for people to tell you what's important to them, and you have to think about what's most important to you and your partner.
Yeah.
And be mindful of your guests and their experience.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you're on the show, because I concur.
I think it's good advice, but it's hard to stick to. Like, you can get really lost in the wedding world
and in all the feedback that you're getting, because it is a bombardment, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're engaged. Where are you getting married? What colors are you having? What's for dinner? Blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just, sometimes all those questions take away from like the magic or the meaning of getting married, right? Which is like, oh, like all those things are things. Like, don't you want to ask me about like how much I love my fiance and about like how our relationship is evolving and growing stronger because we are agreeing to commit our lives to one another? But people just care about like the showy parts.
What's the party going to look like?
Yeah. So sometimes it does kind of deteriorate that like meaningfulness of being engaged.
Yep. I agree. And I think I think there's it sounds easy, but it's not, because it's hard for us to do because we're constantly distracted or looking for different ways to occupy our time. And if it's wedding planning, there's a lot to occupy your time.
Yes. Pinterest.
Yeah. Just take a second and experience like your body and your mind, and how does it feel right now?
Yeah.
Like, take a moment. I'm engaged. This is awesome.
At some point in my life, I like dreamt about this
yes.
moment. Like, literally.
I've been searching for this partner, and I get to have this partner.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. Or like I'm picking out flowers for my wedding. This is
the thing. This is a moment.
Look at how beautiful they are, and what an opportunity that I can afford to have flowers at my wedding and have these people here.
Yes, great point. What an opportunity. That's that, being grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
And being happy with what you have.
We don't all get to do it.
Don't. And also, yeah, I agree. Anyways, where can listeners find you?
Sorry, I took a sip of water. They can find me at modehausbridal.com. They can follow Instagram at Modehaus Bridal. They can follow Behind the Seams, the blog.
Yes, I love that. Punny pun.
It is pretty punny. It's like
great.
In your face.
I love it.
I'm trying to do a lot more production. Like, what does it look like in the studio, and what does it look like to sew a dress? So
yes, local photographers, if you're bored.
And we are also doing pop-up photo shoots at the Northrop King building on the first Thursday of every month, because the first Thursday of every month the Northrop King opens their doors to
public,
the world. I mean, we're always open, but like because
there's a lot of art.
There's so much art
to be had. To be seen.
There's like I don't know, 800 artists in there.
I know. I purposely like try to go there early if I have like an appointment or if I'm going there for a reason.
So you can just walk around and look at stuff
and be like, I'm last.
Yeah, it's amazing there also.
Yeah.
So we're collaborating with photographers, florists, jewelers, like whoever really wants to do it with us.
First Thursday of every month.
Yeah, we've got a big space, and we want to like share it with people. And I post to keep things very spicy. I post the week before to find a model.
Yeah.
So it could be anybody. It could be you.
I feel like it should be me. This is my ideal life. Once a month, Josie gets to try on bridal dresses.
And pose for pictures and have her hair and makeup done.
I think about it often.
Yeah.
Like, how do I hustle out myself? Like, oh, but I have dark skin. But there's like a lot of dark skin models in Minneapolis that are amazing and have experience and aren't short. So listeners can find you online. And I feel like also your Instagram is a really great resource if they're looking for other wedding vendors.
Yes.
Specifically photographers, but also hair and makeup. You work with amazing vendors, so they can go and tap on the picture and find links.
Thank you. Yeah, we partner a lot with SM Hair and Makeup, who also share the space with us.
Yeah.
And so many wedding photographers. We have been so lucky to have incredible collaborators. Amy Mae Photos is my homegirl, and she's an angel. And Kelsey Lee Photography, Britta Kaupel, a metalsmith who's also in the Northrop King building. There's just so many Positively Charmed. I mean, you have so many wonderful choices in this industry, and what a privilege.
Yes, agreed. I totally agree. Yes, trendy Northeast. All right, so we're gonna wrap up the audio.
Okay.
I end every episode with a high five, so thank you, Chelsea.
Really? All right. That one was a good one.
That was a good one. Okay, tell me more about this Thursday pop-up. So it's every first Thursday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And does it like cost money to be involved?
No.
It's just like whoever wants to collaborate on a shoot, and
We'll host it.
Who else is involved for sure?
Me, SM Hair and Makeup is because we share the space with them.
Yeah, in the morning.
It's in the afternoon. So like we would start hair and makeup at 4, and then we'd shoot between 5 and 7. And we just did our first one in January. We'll do our next one February. I think it's Feb 1st and then March 1st.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. Oh, because
it's the same. February and March have the exact same days.
That's crazy.
I do content calendars. Sorry, I have all my content for April, and every time I was like, oh my gosh, these are the same days.
This is crazy.
This is the same days.
Oh
This
my
is the same
gosh.
Monday day. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Do you feel like 2 hours is enough?
I think
None of my shoots last 2 hours.
No,
That's what I'm wondering.
I think hair and makeup being an hour is good.
Yeah.
It's always going to go a little longer.
Yeah.
But it all depends on how much you want to get out of it.
And any photographers that you feel like are on board for February?
I've had 2 photographers say that they were actually I've had like 4 photographers say they're interested in February, but I had one from January that I'll bring over. And are we still on the air?
On YouTube.
Okay. And then so I'm kind of booking it or trying to book it and then try to get like stylists involved as well, cuz it'd be fun to do something different each time. And you know, there's so many styled shoots that you can do.
Yes.
That I personally end up coordinating most of the styled shoots.
You do.
Yeah, and
I also do.
So I was trying to figure out a way where you can still get that beautiful content, but have it be less pressure for everybody.
Yes, because I feel like people don't treat styled shoots how they should. They think, okay, this is not for a real client.
Mm-hmm.
This is like not a real thing that I have to like put time and energy in. And actually, like my view of styled shoots is I want to try my gosh darn hardest because anyone is a potential referral of clients.
Yep.
Anyone could be a client. Like people get married. So there's that.
It's like
it's
like a phenomenon.
Just
I can't
you have
believe
a
it.
job
Yeah.
or work in the wedding industry doesn't mean you wouldn't get married. And then I feel like a lot of times people are like just lazy about it or like they put it on the back burner and they don't treat it as important, which is understandable. But
Because it's
a
not
really
money
great,
in your pocket, but it's
Yes.
big picture.
and it's a great opportunity.
Mhm.
People are always complaining, I don't have content to put on social media. Like, what do you think a styled shoot can be used for?
Content. It
Yes.
is your bread and butter content.
Right. And then the other thing that I feel like I noticed is that people will treat styled shoots just as like whatever we can get kind of opportunities, and it's like, well, really it should represent your brand. So it's if the elements that are coming together aren't on brand for you, like then why are you doing it?
Right.
Because then you can't use those images.
And speak up about it. Like, you don't just I made this mistake pretty early going in to, oh yeah, styled shoot, like
Yes.
I need to do whatever I can do to
Yes.
get images, and I did.
Yeah.
But as you develop your brand, you need to be able to
I'd love to do that, but it's not on brand.
It's not
It
on
won't
brand
be-
for me.
I won't be able to use those images. So like you can use my dresses, but I can't be like a contributor or
Right.
something like that,
Yep.
right? Like you can do that, right?
Yep.
I can't do that. I can't be like, I'll plan your whole shoot, but I'm not going to use any of the images. 'Cause that would be like huge red flag, Josie. This is a poor ROI, but yeah, I like all that.
Yep. I think that's really difficult for people to do.
Yes, say no.
Say
no is a tough one.
Not just say no, but like be concerned that someone's gonna take it personally. But what's wrong with a little transparency? No, I'm sorry, that's not gonna work.
There's
for
a
my brand.
really great article about saying no. I can't remember who did it. Oh, it's someone locally. I'll put it in the show notes for YouTubers. But basically, like, there's a bunch of strategies on how to say no. And one strategy is saying, no, I'm not available to do that. But here are some people that I think might be a better fit or might be available. And then you don't feel like it's so harsh rejection. It's more like now I'm being a connector.
Yep.
and this doesn't dead end with me.
That sounds like a really smart way
I like that.
to be gentle and generous to everybody.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, we're good
Sweet.
on YouTube. See you later.
Bye.